The National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA, requires the analysis of environmental impacts for all federally funded projects. Impact significance, not size or cost, dictates the class of action and thereby the NEPA process and requirements for documentation and public involvement. A very small percentage of federal aid projects are found to have significant impacts and lead to the preparation of an Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS. Preparation of an EIS is a complex and highly structured process, and from project initiation to the record of the decision, it can take a considerable amount of time and money to complete. To get a better sense of what's involved, let's follow the Southside community as it engages in the NEPA process and selects a course of action. During project initiation, the project team documents the purpose, need, and possible alternatives. Essentially, the towns of Southside and Northside are joined by a bridge that is fast approaching the end of its useful life. The commuters and school children of both communities rely heavily on this crossing as the nearest alternate is 15 miles away. In Southside, two alternative approaches to the bridge will be considered: Main Street, near the current bridge's location, and Broad Street. During the scoping phase, the team looks closely at the alternatives and building sites for opportunities to lessen any negative impact. They find that if Main Street continues as the approach, the replacement bridge will divert traffic away from the commercial district, resulting in a substantial loss of income for the business community. For this reason, most city officials prefer to move the approach to Broad Street. However, Broad Street is the heart of a designated historic district, but there is opposition from the State Historic Preservation Officer and others to this alternative. As a result, the project team conducts additional studies during the environmental analysis phase. One study confirms that the replacement of the bridge has near unanimous support, but there is considerable controversy between those favoring the Broad Street and the Main Street locations. A historic review of the area determines that the Main Street Commercial District is also eligible for historic status. Additionally, a focus group is formed to recommend design elements that will be in keeping with the area's historic setting. During the draft EIS phase, documentation is prepared and provided to the public for comment. A nationally recognized expert on historic districts evaluates the two alternatives. She concludes that the Broad Street alternative is superior because the Main Street business community is reliant on exposure to traffic. To enhance the historic fabric of the town, she suggests better access to the business district and a tunnel under the historic district. To facilitate public review and comment, the draft EIS is placed in the City Hall and the public library, and several workshops are scheduled. The local news outlets assist in the distribution of information on the project, and the workshops are well attended. The final EIS recommendation is an approach along Broad Street with refinements suggested by the expert and the focus group. The State Historic Preservation Officer accepts the proposal and concludes the historic consultation process. The final EIS is published and copies are circulated free of charge to interested community members. Following the required comment period on the final EIS, the FHWA, as the approving authority, publishes a record of decision, a document that states what the decision is, the alternatives reviewed, and plans for lessening any environmental impact. The FHWA is satisfied that the documentation and public input processes required by NEPA were followed. They accept the final EIS and approve the proposed bridge. This concludes the NEPA process for the Southside community. In review, the project was initiated with a statement of purpose and need that outlined the bridge's role in connecting residents with employment centers. During the scoping phase, 2 bridge alternatives were developed. Potential impacts to both the business community and historic district were then analyzed. The 2 alternatives, associated impacts, and plans to lessen them were published in the draft and final EIS and widely circulated for public review and comment. FHWA's record of decision allowed the project to proceed with the commitment to tunnel under the historic district. The Public Works Department then completes the design, procures the right-of-way for the tunnel, and proceeds with construction. At the ribbon-cutting ceremony, the residents of Southside expressed complete satisfaction with their beautiful new bridge, vibrant historic district, and strong commercial center. For your own successful conclusion, engage your State Department of Transportation and, when appropriate, the FHWA early and throughout your project's entire EIS preparation. They have considerable knowledge and expertise in all areas of NEPA compliance.